I thought that I'd maybe start with the one that was done in 1975 called Cherry Pie. That was the one I did in art school, my final year of art school. I had done a printmaking course at the South Australian School of Art. That was fourth and final year, and I concentrated on lithography. That was my passion, and it has been my passion since then. And I used to just do things around me, and so this cherry pie was this really tall, skinny stand, and it had a cherry pie on top of it, which my friend Cherry had made. So when I went out to her place, there was this lovely cherry pie on this nice stand, and I was probably more interested in the stand and the chair and the windows. So I guess that's what I used to base my works on, just my surroundings and what I've done. And so after 1975, I was in Adelaide and I moved back to Sydney, and so I started my practice up here. And I got into a couple of workshops that had lithography presses, so that's what I did. And there's one called Donna Cafe, which is 1976. And I used to also do a little bit of collage with my prints. And so the Donna Cafe has a paper plate with a very basic meal on it, and a tablecloth and that sort of stuff. The other thing I quite like is I like things that are hidden, like what's in a drawer, and I like to open the drawer and check out what's in it. And so at art school, that's what I was doing. I did a print of a fridge, and then you could open it and you could see not very much in it because there wasn't very much in it. And so I like that. I sort of like to reveal that mystery of what's behind things. I don't know why I picked certain things, like an evening mess. There's the face cloth and the socks and a bit of rubbish in the bin. I can't quite recall why I decided to do those things, but I did. And maybe I went to art school in the 70s, where that's what you did. You didn't have to have it. Well, I had a job, but it was always at Christmas time. You were there 5 days a week. It wasn't 2 hours one day and 2 hours another day. You were there all the time. It's a time where you can just play around and experiment, but you get the discipline of going every day and doing something and going there, and so you build up this discipline and this way of opening your mind, because yes, you don't have to concentrate too much on anything else. And I got a grant to go travel overseas and visit print workshops in Europe and America. And so I travelled over there in 1980, and I ended up in a place in Scotland called Montrose, and there was a print workshop there that I spent a couple of months working there, and they had a relief printing press, the printing press. So I did a series of woodcuts there. And I stayed at a place, and they had this towel hanger and lots of, like a lot of sort of English places, they have lots of patterns on the walls and patterns on the floor, and there's patterns everywhere. So I just sort of simplified that. And the print that's called The Hall Stand, which is 1982, I did not that reasonably soon after I came back. And it was actually a commission for the Print Council of Australia, and you had to do an edition of 100, and 100 lithographs is quite a major task. So I decided to do a linocut of it. And I did a single coloured linocut for the commission, and then there was just a few that I decided I'd put another second colour on. So this is the second edition of that. After my first exhibition that I had in Sydney in 1977 at Waters Gallery, and it was prints. Stephen rang up the gallery and kept pestering them and saying, I want to offer Helen a job. I'm going to open an art supply shop. And they don't usually sort of pass those things on, but he pestered them so much that he finally, he got in touch. And so I worked for him in the art supply shop, which was fantastic. And he was an enthusiastic collector, but he was certainly enthusiastic about my work, which I really appreciated. I've had a few people collect my work over the years, and yeah, it's a really, it keeps you going in a way. I mean, people buy your work and that's great, but then some come back and they see new work and they're enthused by it, and so yeah, it's kind of inspiring. It is important, I think, and it's sort of it's like a confirmation of what you do.